Hey fam, welcome back to the channel. I am so glad that you were here and I hope that you will stay a while. For this video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It has really been impressed upon my spirit to share a little bit more about my spiritual walk and some of the things that God has been revealing to me. And so I'm going to be obedient and just share some of those things with you. So in the last few weeks or so, God had me in a lot of different books and chapters that really had to do a lot with repentance. They had a lot to do with trusting His word, and a lot of those things were convictional for me. But as I was talking to some of my friends and loved ones, I realized, wow, we need to be having this conversation and this dialogue, not just for people that are already believers, but maybe for some people who aren't. And so tonight we're just going to get into these two books that the Lord led me to specifically. It was Isaiah 36 and 37. Now, I do need you guys to be a little bit gracious with me because I don't typically do any sort of Bible studies. This is very new for me. These are not necessarily prophetic words or anything like that, but it's just beautiful words that the Lord has led me to, given me some clarification on, and I just want to share it with you. So let's dive in. In Isaiah 36, there is, for lack of a better word, I'll say this brother named Rabshakeh comes to King Hezekiah, and he's from Assyria. So basically, he walks into, I'm just kind of giving you the background of the story in case you haven't read it. He comes into the king's court, and he's speaking in their native tongue, I guess Hebrew, and he's telling them, yo, I'm just letting you know, my king is on his way. He's out here conquering folks. You guys are next. What you could do ahead of time to not be conquered is basically join us, submit to what we have going on, and you'll be spared. By the way, we heard that you guys have, your king might be telling you that you can trust the Lord and all that. Don't believe them. We've conquered a ton of other, countries and kings. Their gods didn't save them. So there's no reason for you to trust your King Hezekiah that your God is going to save you. So there's these three gentlemen. One is a scribe, and I guess probably record keepers of the court. And they're like, hey man, can you speak to us in, I guess, Assyrian? We understand that language, but you're kind of talking in front of all these people, and we really don't feel like this dialogue should be had in front of them. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna say what I gotta say. So he keeps on, and he's telling them yeah, you might as well surrender now, or else we're gonna go ahead and take you to our land, make you slaves, and you really won't have much of a choice in what happens after that. So then he gets really bold, and he speaks loudly, not just to the three men that were kind of greeting him at the front of the court. And if you could imagine, it's people lined up just in the king's court, just kind of sitting and listening to the things that are happening. So he basically is like, y'all, we about to make y'all slaves. Do not listen to your king. We're about to enslave you. I know your king is going to come and tell you to trust God, but you really shouldn't because you're all going to die. Alrighty then, and leaves out. So these three guys then go and take the word to King Hezekiah, because I'm presuming the king didn't just sit in the king's court all day, every day. And so they're like, listen, what's his name? Rabshakeh from Assyria just came through. This is what he's saying. It's crazy. He told everyone and spoke loudly in the space, but basically how they're coming to conquer us and make us slaves. And they came to the king. So I guess in Hebrew culture, when you're really grieved and upset about something, you are in sackcloth and ashes. It's just to show that you're really grieved and sad about this news or this information that you've received or are giving. And so when the scribes came back to tell King Hezekiah what the guy from Assyria said, they came to him in sackcloth and ashes. So then it talks about how King Hezekiah is ripping his clothes, oh my God, what? He said this. and he goes into this prayer. Now, I'm not going to get into the full prayer. I'm just going to kind of read you a couple of cliff notes that I took from it. First, he is pleading with God, like, incline thine ear, O Lord, to what I'm asking you for. Please save us from his hand. And he's really talking about the king of Assyria and all these things that have been promised in terms of destruction and captivity. And he's basically saying in this prayer that God would come and save them so that all the kingdoms of the earth would know that their God is the one and true God. And so then Isaiah sends his scribes over, and it says, go talk to prophet Isaiah. So they go and they tell Isaiah everything that has happened, basically this threat from this king in Assyria, and like what say you, the prophet? And Isaiah's like, that's cool. All right, let me get my word from the Lord. Boom, 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 boom. And then he speaks, I believe this is in chapter 37, and he really is just sharing what the Lord is saying through him. One of the lines that caught me was when he said that God said, but I know thy abode, thy going out and thy coming in, and thy rage against me. And I want to make put a little pin right here, because there's so many times that in our humanity, we are afraid when challenges are coming up against us, people maybe even be coming up against us. And we are wondering in those moments, those immediate moments, like, God, like, this is a big threat. This is deep. And they're blaspheming you. Like, they're really calling you out and trying to make it seem like you were equal to all these other gods. Like, what are you going to do? Like, how do you feel about this? Like, I'm scared. What's up? And if you read in that chapter when prophet Isaiah is really speaking the word of the Lord, not only is he assuring them that they will not be overtaken, he then gets into it and he's like, first of all, the king ain't even going to make it here. So be at peace. I got this. And he then goes into basically God saying, like, not only that, but I know that dude's comings and goings. There's nothing that God does that I don't know, because I'm the Lord Most High. So then after they receive this word and they take it back and to share with King Hezekiah, it says that the angel of the Lord went to the king of Assyria where he was and killed 5,180 of his men that he had laid in wait. So I'm guessing they were not in Assyria. They were already on their way to the land that King Hezekiah inhabited, and they were waiting to attack. And so when the king woke up and he saw that over 5,000 of his men were dead, he decided, all right, cool, I'm gonna head back to Nineveh, not sure what this is about. So it talks about him going into worship one of his gods, I think it's Nisroch, and how his sons come in, two of his sons come in and kill him with a sword. They murdered their dad, and then they escaped to Armenia. And a third son wound up ruling in his stead. Why is all of this important? And as God was speaking to me, why was he even sharing this? In these seasons, there's going to be so many things that we are threatened by that are going to just try to discourage us in our faith and really have us question whether or not the Most High is who he says he is. And in this particular, these two books, it really just shows, like, not only is God a defender of his people, but that we can go and we can ask and we can pray and we can plead. But God doesn't need us all the time to go and do the thing. He can send his angel to handle business without any help of our own. Not only that, there is another point in there where it says he's not only doing it to preserve the remnant of his people, but he's doing it to preserve and protect his name. And so I know sometimes we can look like, dang, like, people are just really blasphemous out here. They really just say anything out their mouth. They have no respect, no honor, whether they believe or they don't believe, in regards to how they speak about God. And in these books, it really just shows, like, God is fully capable of defending himself, and that even when we feel like everyone is getting away with this and that, and they can say whatever they want and be blasphemous, We have to know and trust and believe that God can defend himself, but he also will protect us when people are coming up against us and telling us how they're going to annihilate and take us out. Even when they're telling us that our faith is dumb and stupid and why are you even believing that way? That time and time again in many different stories in the Bible, it shows us that our faith is backed. And so I want to encourage you today and anybody else listening into just that fact that your faith is backed. God will send his angels. He will send the angel of the Lord. He will send his angel armies, whatever it is that is needed in the moment to protect us, to surround us, to defend us, to judge, other people that have been blasphemous, and that we can really have faith and rest in that. And so I hope that this was encouraging for you. Like I said, this is something new. I do have Bible study in my own time, but I've never really shared it publicly. So if there's something that you would like for me to speak on in particular, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I will be sharing a few more Bible studies and just have them up weekly. But I hope that you all have an amazingly blessed day whenever you watch this, and we will talk soon. Bye.